pretty lethal, whatever it was. But in any case, there's a pretty good mix out there now. I know some of the, they've changed some of the formulas over the years. But usually a trip to Home Depot or Lowe's, you got quite a selection. Some prefer other brands, over others and stuff. But the weed killing, I've got so much junk growing on the lawn. Right now, I've got these little weed clusters. They come up, and right now they're about 6 to 8 inches tall. I have to go out there with the weed whacker, cut them down. And I think then they turn into something else later on. Oh, it's crazy stuff. But to go out and loom the yard and all that, it wouldn't be worth it. I look around my whole neighborhood here, and everybody has the same lawn. Most of it's 25% moss, probably 60% crabgrass, and then another 20% of some sort of trail mix. But the birds seem to like it, and hey, it holds the soil there. That's all I care. And people always compliment on the yard. They look at it from the street at an angle, and it looks like it's a nice mowed lawn and all that. But once you walk up on top of it, you really get to see what nature's done. And of course, it gets into the flower beds, gets onto the mulch, all the different weeds. But it's good to keep things clear and protect your property. And Perry, I remember you mentioned a while back the guy went in, your landscaper went in and took out some of the radials or the feed line to the antenna. Yeah, that's pretty nasty stuff there. But anyway, yeah, spring is on the way. I got the Jeep. I had 2 fenders, front body, a cowling off the tub, and the windshield frame. And I brought those up front. I had some new fenders in the garage that I had bought about 5 or 6 years ago. And I brought them out. I just want to do the comparison, if there's any extra holes, whatever. Get a road map of where they are and drill before I start painting and all. But the fenders, they advertise them as like 1972 to 1975, and I don't know what these things. I know they go on the CJ5 Jeep, but I didn't realize how cheap they were. They come out of the Philippines. Oh, what a horror show. So anyway, I'll be lucky to just get this thing back together. But I'm starting to do inventory on that, and then I got to put the canopy out in the back and start that whole process again. And hopefully I can shoot some paint on this thing if the paint is still good. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, yard work well underway. Went over to a buddy of mine yesterday. He gave me another 100 cobblestones to go around the flower beds and all that. That works pretty good because, when you're out there with the weed whacker, if you do that, I think Frank just uses the liquid whacker. Nice to have a little boulder to go up against. So, too much to do in such little time, so try to enjoy other things other than the yard. So what do you, Charlie? M1XZW, M1SNG. It sounds good on the wrapping up that project there, Charlie. Or
Alpha Juliet 1 Golf, AJ1G. Happy Easter.
Well, I had a piece of equipment go down yesterday, and maybe you may be able to help me, Glenn, if you don't mind going through those tubes that you put together to sell. My what do you call it? The VFO that I use on my Hallicrafter went down right in the middle of a conversation yesterday. I was there and then I was gone. The filament must have gone in the rectifier tube. The rectifier is no more. It's a 6X4. 6 X-ray 4. 7-pin tube. It's cold. It's stone cold. It's not making any heat, so it's not making any electricity. It's not the filament voltage because the other two tubes in the oscillator are both lit up and healthy. Anyway, I'll turn it over to you there, Chris. And happy Easter back to you. AJ1GN1XZW.
Hey, real quick, let me make sure I got it. Hey, Chris. Hey, you guys want to move back to 3885? Looks clear now. I don't know if these sidebanders are bothering you guys up above us, but 3885, excuse me, is clear if you guys wanted to go back up there. Just a suggestion. W3MMR.
W3MMR, AJ1G. Perry, the Florida AM Freenet's going to be sorry enough, and they're going to actually be bothering you more than us. There is a bunch of sideband that kind of lit up right on 74, I think, looking at their signal on the local SDR here. Hey, happy Easter to everybody. Hopefully I'm not sounding okay. Let me see. Stand by. 1, 2. Yeah, I think I'm doing okay. I'm on the old BC 191, and this is like tuning a guitar in a hot, humid environment. One day it works, one day it doesn't. I think I had that stuff last night when I shut it off on 3885. I just slid down here because there was a lot of activity from down south. Glenn, you're very strong, as is Charlie, and you're very good to hear you. Been a long time. Been having a lot of fun with this old BC 191 lately. It's been a little tricky, but I think I got it going pretty good. And I might even have a little recording of the web SDR I have running here in the background. Let's see, let me pull my spectrum up on it here. And, probably mostly upper sideband, but the low frequency has effect. It seems like it's an extra lower sideband, but the high frequency seems to be okay. But all matters is how it sounds, I guess. Anyhow, let me get over to Glenn. I don't know if Frank's in here or who's next, but I just wanted to get in and say hello. I hope everyone has a good Easter. Blessed Easter. N1SNG, or whoever is next, AJ1G.
Hey, go ahead, Pop.
W2SDR. Yeah, okay. QRM wasn't too bad that time. Good morning, Chris. W2SDR here. Charlie, a 6X4 is a dual rectifier tube. You used to see those a lot in car radios when they had tubes, but it's just a rectifier tube, and it still has a filament in it, though, so it should be lit, but they usually probably, if that's in a receiver, they probably use it as a detector and maybe the other half for a noise limiter or something. I don't know what they would use it for in a transmitter, so I think it would be a receiving tube as a part of the power supply and or for a detector or noise limiter. It's a diode, a dual diode tube, and it's unusual that you see a rectifier that's a miniature tube, because most of the time the rectifiers are the octal tube and the larger tubes. So it's kind of an unusual tube, but like I say, it was very popular in tube auto radios. Okay, Chris turned it to me. I was turning it to Glenn, and so there we go. I just haven't. I don't think I've heard you in a while, Perry, but I was turning it to Glenn, so I want to continue to turn it there, I guess. And so that weed killer would do you okay, and that should last for a couple of months. N1SNG in the group W2 SDR.
Yeah, okay. W2 SDR. Am I on frequency?
Yes.
Did you look at your frequency count?
Yeah, well, I came in here and I was on 38. 73, I went to 3885, and then I went back to 73. Okay. It takes a while for the frequency counter to like one of those slot machines. You know, you wait for the 3 cherries or 4 cherries to come up. But anyway, Charlie, I know I do have some of those, and I'll put them aside because when I was going through all the tubes here, I saw those there. Let me know if there's anything else, and you know, once I get those out of the pile, I'll give you a call. And you know, if you want to stop by and and bring your other tube there, we can put that on the tube tester and you know, check that out, see what's going on, or if there's anything else you know, you might be looking for there. So anyway, what are you, Charlie? N1XCW, N1SNG.
Somehow we went by Perry. Greg, I think you were supposed to trade it to Perry. Or was it the other way around? Perry turned it to you. I didn't hear Perry. Anyway, I turned it to Chris. Well, Chris, you turned it to Perry. Because I don't know, I'm losing track already. Work before, that's beyond my capabilities. Yeah, appreciate it, Glenn. I'm off the air on 40 meters until I get one. That, or I have to do a diode conversion, which I really don't like getting into stuff like that. Nothing really to test. I pretty much was told over the air what was wrong with it. Somebody said it, and Timtron confirmed it. But his first one was, I would convert it for diodes. And Frank, that's listed in the tube manual as a full wave rectifier tube. That's how they list it in the manual. I don't know what else they may have used it for, but that's what it is. And it did state in the manual that they were used a lot in early car radios and other plug-in-the-wall receivers as well. But in this case, it's not being used for either. This is the power supply in my night kit VFO that I use to put my Alicrafter HD40 on frequency. And without it, I went away. I had nothing really to test, Glenn. It's not lighting up, it's not getting hot. The filament must have popped. And I don't need a tube tester for that. And I do actually have a tube tester here. I didn't even bother pulling it out because if the filament ain't lit, it ain't going to work. The filament voltage has to be there because the other tubes are lit. But I do have a question. A regulated tube. Does a regulated tube even have a filament? Or does it only light if it's seeing the appropriate high voltage to regulate? Because alongside it is a OA2. And the OA2 also is cold. But I was thinking about it, and I looked in the manual, and I didn't see common connections on the pinout. I was thinking about it as well. If it's not getting DC, there's nothing there to regulate. So why would it light? AJ1G, N1XCW.
Okay, Charlie. Yeah, you caught me. I didn't get it. Normally, I leave the 191 in round tables because it's just sucking battery current down for no good reason, and then the voltage on going to the dynamo to drop. So I had to hit the power switch, and it just slid onto frequency here. I'm watching my SDR waterfall display here, and now I'm switched over to the web SDR. See what I'm looking like to the rest of the world here. Sometimes the local SDR, the signal's so strong, I don't get a really good presentation of what the signal's really looking like. But it's looking fairly well balanced on the. There's a carrier right on top of me now here. I know someone's tuning up. It's coming and going, but having fun with it. Yeah, Barry, how's work going? Hey, you'll appreciate this at the Saber Shed. Or let's see, what did the guy call it? He called it the Rescue Shed, the Red Rescue Shed at the local landfill. Well, probably you can't call it a landfill; it's a transfer station because nothing really gets put into the ground there anymore, technically. But everyone still calls it the dump. It brand new in the box, a Cal Automotive, KA Automotive. 1978 vintage, multi-scale, big meter, huge analog dial, multi-scale auto analyzer, brand new in the Montgomery Ward stickered box, with instruction manual and all of the accessory cables and connectors and the high current shunt for measuring battery volt, all in the original sealed plastic bag. Hasn't been opened yet. Thing is like mint, absolutely mint. This is really cool. I think it sold for about $80 back in '78. I'm guessing '78 by the pictures of the, the drawings of the cards on the manual, and then the date stamping on some of the paperwork. So, at any rate, that's a great thing. It's got there's not too many cars you got to measure dwell angle anymore on points, but here from my son Ben's Volkswagen, 67 Volkswagen, perfect thing to have around. I don't know if you've got anything like that, so I'm gonna keep it. I can also use it to check dynamo starting current and things like that as well. Anyhow, Glenn, okay on the project there and the state of the lawn. Yeah, my lawn's starting to grow lumps of grass here and there. It's getting kind of lumpy. I've cut the back twice. I think I just did everything once so far. I've done the whole lawn once, mainly just to get up all the chaff from the winter, and it looks pretty clean now. And saw a dandelion the other day, and we're getting a lot of our daffodils are in bloom. Really strong. We're gonna have to go over to the Blythewall Gardens over in Bristol. We got a free admission pass with that multi-museum reciprocity pass I bought up at the Wireless and Steam Museum back in the fall, and also the Audrain Car Museum there in Newport. We're going to make a double-header day. We'll go probably go to the Blythewall in the morning, and in the afternoon go over to the museum there in Newport on the way home. Anyhow, let's see. I think it goes to Perry after this. W3MMR and the fine group here. And again, happy Easter, AJ1G.
AJ1G and the group W3MMR. Okay. Good transmissions all the way around. Well, Chris, you look a little bit later on today, and making a recording here so you can check out the YouTube channel later and you can hear what it sounds like. I was switching back and forth. I can't have my synchronous detector on when with that transmitter because of bouncing around frequency a little bit, so it gets kind of garbled sounding, almost like it's sideband. But on AM sounds pretty good, so you'll hear me switching back and forth throughout your transmission there, so you can check it out. It should be, I'll go ahead and upload it when we're done here, and then it'll take a few hours to process on YouTube for 4K, and it takes a little while, but it should be up there by lunchtime, I would imagine. Good on the analyzer. I had actually a guy at work. We have 3 shops in our company, and they all know I'm into radio and stuff. And one of our managers was at one of the other stores and found an old battery analyzer and charging system analyzer from the 60s up in the attic of the old shop, and gave it to me. And I was testing it out at work the other day. I mean, it's got this big crank on the front of it to to add more or less current or draw to the, and you can add like 600 amps of draw on the battery with this thing, man. It's pretty cool. But it's cool. It's got this big crank on the front, this big handle that it threads in and threads out, which I thought was pretty cool. And it's still sitting at work, but that's what you described reminded me of. So cool stuff. Yeah, Glenn, my landscaper did his weed whacker did take out a bunch of my ground radials, because I have the ground rod right outside of my window here, where all my coaxes, multiple feed lines are the shields are bonded to that 8-foot ground rod there, and before they come into the house, and my ground radials are connected right there, and he whacked a good bit of them, and I repaired them, but this is going back a while now. So I put up a fence, kind of like a border, a flower bed border in front of it, to keep him from going in there, and I made my flower bed a little bit bigger, because it kind of it jutted in, and it was like two lumps basically, like my flower bed. It came out, went in, came out, went in, and in the middle of the two where they go in is where the ground rod was. So there wasn't a flower bed there, but now I made it straight across with the border there, so now it's one big flower bed. So he doesn't go in there anymore, which is a good thing. And bummer on the VFO tube situation there, Charlie. Hopefully you can get it squared away, get a new tube or whatever, and get back on 40 meters. I haven't been on 40 in a while, but I would like to maybe try to remember to get on 40 maybe this afternoon with the guys, because it always seems to be good conditions up there and a good group. So we'll keep it moving here, and back over to you, Pop. W2 SDR in the group, W3 MMR.
Yeah, okay, I just switched over to the SDR and now I'm not hearing a QRM. So anyway, good all the way around. Yeah, it shouldn't be too hard to figure out there. Charlie, well, I sent you a tube tester, I guess, a list there, maybe that you can try your tube tester, at least to know that you don't have something wrong with your filament supply, or bad connection in the tube socket. You can eliminate the tube, or definitely point the finger at the tube in 2 seconds just by plugging it into the tube tester to see if it lights up. Just an idea. Yeah, okay, well, I'm no more tubes here right at the moment. I switched over to the SDR this morning. Everyone is still coming in pretty good. QRM eased up. Yeah, it's tough when you got like two frequencies, or really one frequency at this hour of the morning to use, so you have to kind of make the best of it there. So over to you, Glenn. W1 or N1SNG in the group, W2 SDR.
Yeah, W2SDR N1SNG. Very nice signal, Frank. SDR taking command. Very nice. And yeah, Charlie, I do have those tubes. They're in here. I got to go through them. So we'll give you a ring as soon as I locate them. And yeah, cool. That's cool on the welder. Perry there, like Frankenstein type of welder. I mean, battery charger. I remember Charlie mentioning he had one that had I think had a rectifier tube in it. And I think it had cloth wound wire on it, really ancient stuff. So yeah, back in the day, probably loaded with copper too. But Chris, you sounded good there this morning. And yeah, if you want dandelions, come up here. That's one of the staples here for the lawn. Dandelions, and the lady across the street gave us some sort of flowering thing, and now those things are like migrating underground and popping up all over the place. It's like something out of a sci-fi movie. So trying to keep those in check, digging them up, get rid of them. I wouldn't wish those things on anybody, but it just adds more work to the list. But anyway, they're nice when they bloom, but it's not worth that for the short duration. And then you got to deal with the weed. But yeah, I've got quite a bit out there right now. The dandelions are, I don't know, they just those things will grow on a rock. Yep. And on the analyzer, Chris, very good on that. Yeah, I picked one of those up. It was a Sears. I think it was a Craftsman. Pretty good size analyzer. Brand new in the box. So I figure I'd keep that for the, for the Jeep once I get that running again. And also, it came with a nice timing light also. Got a few of those. Nice older, like chrome plated, kind of cool looking. But yeah, back in the day, if you had one of those, man, that was like you were the kid on the block, A lot of fun playing around with that stuff. But yep. Other than that, got dinner later on this afternoon. Thankfully, it's going to be a 5 o'clock run, and then it's off to the service up at the church. The kids, nieces and nephews, they've got some sort of a thing going on there. They get up there and play musical instruments and stuff. It's kind of cool. But hopefully the weather holds off. I think it's going to be pretty dry for quite some time here in Rhode Island, at least. I know they've got, I'm pretty sure they have the fire warnings up because of it getting dry. But I know the ground here is still pretty yucky. And to go out and work in the yard right now, it's a good time of year. It's nice and cool. Get everything done, Anything you got to move or rearrange and so on. So I was over at my buddy's yesterday. He's my master gardener guy, and he gave me a bunch of cobblestones. But he bought these. I think he bought them over at Lowe's. It's a Eco cordless weed whacker, chainsaw, and a blower. And his yard is pretty much all, it's like a garden, basically. Hostas and all sorts of neat stuff. So he can get in there with that. And very portable. So, I was checking it out. It's pretty nice. The weed whacker is nice. It's got an auto feed system on it. Carbon fiber handle. I think he's probably into it. Probably close to $1,000. With all this, the newer stuff coming out, lithium batteries and so on. I think he gets like a 45-minute run or something out of them. But, yeah, I still have the old 2-stroke weed whackers here, and once those are gone, I'll just probably replace them. I don't have too many, weeds to say. I just get out there and push everything back a little bit, and then other things start growing. But yeah, so I got the Havahart trap out in the back. I had trouble with the squirrels, and relocating them. So I go over there, I bait the trap, I put a big glob of peanut butter on the thing, and about 4 or 5 hours later on, I can hear the trap rattling back there, so I go back there, and there's a squirrel. I says, I'll take care of him tomorrow morning sometime, and so anyway, I said, screw it, I might as well get it all done and over with. So about 3 or 4 hours later, I go back there, and the darn thing checked out. I don't know if it had a heart attack or whatever, but anyway, he went to the dump. But yeah, they're pretty destructive in the yard. I wish they would eat weeds and stuff like that instead of all the buds off the apple trees and so on. So yeah, a little bit of yard reporting here. So with that, get it right over to you, Charlie. And yeah, hopefully you can get that set running again there. Maybe check out a few other things. N1ZW, N1SNG.
N1SNG, N1XZW. Yeah, well, I was just going to throw that on my tube tester just to satisfy everybody else, and the paper dial card thing in my tube tester does not want to roll. Something came loose in there, so I can't scroll down to the tube number.
I sent him a whole new tube list.
Email from Frank is on the computer upstairs, so I can't refer to that readily. So, the hell with it. I wiggled the tube. It's not, it wasn't a pin in the tube socket. And it went down while I was talking, so it's pretty safe to say that it shit the bed. But anyway, yeah, I'd appreciate it if you could locate those things, Glenn. I definitely come right over and get one. Your first available opportune time, because I really hate not having 40 meters without, well, I got on 40 meters with the Yaesu, and the receive on that is god-awful. It's so doggone narrow. Like, Timmy's got that big, full signal. I have to tune, I have to KC up and down from the center frequency to understand them. It's just too much frequency bandwidth for that thing's capability. You got to go off frequency a little bit to understand them. I use the receive, the RIT, and I just tune it off, but it's still not pretty audio. It's not like listening to these old tube AM receivers. Well, for that matter, even my AX190, which is not tube, but it's old. Anyway, the fish tank lights went on about 5 minutes ago, so I'm going to head upstairs, take care of the fishies, have my muffin and my coffee, and if you guys are still here when I get back, I will be back. If you're not, well, then I will do something else. 7-3 for now. Over to you, Chris. AJ1Z, N1XZW.
I think... Okay, Chris.
Yeah, okay, Frank. Yeah, no worries. Okay, very good all around.
It doesn't go to him, but that's okay.
Maybe there was some selective fading going on. It looks pretty well balanced on that. Well, still a little heavy on the low frequency on the upper side. Let me close it. Work off a little bit here. Yeah, it's coming and going. Maybe there's some selective fading going. Maybe it's something about the detector. I don't know. Detection process up there. Yeah, you don't want to try to detect this signal on a synchronous detector. It's not good. It's an exercise in futility. If you're chasing the lock all the time, I guess. Barry, I haven't looked at your YouTube channel in a long time. I'm wondering if you're still on a regular basis putting the various nets and stuff up there. I know you were really into that for a while. That's a lot of work, though. And like I told you, I'm actually, I with this radio especially, this transmitter especially, I frequently will make just cut an air check recording off it. I want SDR, which I'm actually doing again right now. And then, I can just it automatically downloads. Once I stop the recording, it automatically gets sent to my URL. My web SDR or my local device address. You can even go to, I can do it off my phone. I've done that in the past when I'm operating Mobile. I make recordings on the Mobile signal with the web SDRs. But this thing's working pretty good. I love the way it looks. You've seen pictures of it with those big candlesticks all lit up in it and all. Hey, you want to see something interesting? If you go on amphone.net, Larry, A1LGQ, just put up a posting. It's it's either the technical or no, I think it's in the QSO. Kind of like the recording line here, where all the everyone posts the deals the forum type of thing, the general stuff. It's a loading coil from the original 1920, early 30s WTIC broadcast station in Hartford. It's looks like a big frame. I don't know if it's made out of wood or what, but it's got these two gigantic loading coils on it that totally fill up the back in this big open rectangular frame. It just fits into a bed of a pickup. The thing is gigantic. It's big. It's got to be like 1 inch or 2 inch diameter copper tubing. These coils. They were apparently a Marconi T antenna. Those are the base loading coils of it. And they were actually on site at the actual current WTIC transmitter site. They must have a doghouse there building for the current antennas, phasing networks or whatever. And this thing was still in there since the 1930s, so almost 100 years now, 90 years now. And they got donated to the Connecticut Vintage Electronics Museum in Windsor. And I guess they're over there now. Really, really cool. They remind me of, the CBers, phased array, phased vertical. I always wondered why you see these CBers with these big fat loading coils on their antennas. And I say, is that a power trip or something? Well, actually, they are. And I guess you got to have those big, heavy tubular loading coils because you melt them with the 3 kW amplifier you got inside the Suburbans. I was trying to find a picture of yours, Larry, Barry. I think that's an electrograph set of husband. I made a comment on Larry's these coils would make those guys really inadequate when they see these coils. Anyhow, let's see. I guess it goes over to you, Barry. And if you're making a special recording for me, you don't have to. Like I said, it's easy as pie. I'm sure you're aware of cut these air check recordings off the web SDRs. W3MMR AJ1G on the old BC191 with 4211s and a Type 10 burning and a BD77 dynamo return.
Yeah, AJ1G W3MMR. No, I've been trying to make them every day or every time I'm on. I've been trying to get back into it. So yeah, it'll be up there. It's no big deal. I am going to make this my final, so I'm going to I'll end the recording here in a minute. Well, good luck with the Charlie if you're still within earshot there. Hopefully you can maybe snap a picture with your phone of the tube tester settings and just bring it downstairs or wherever you got things set up, just that way you can verify it instead of just throwing parts at it. You know what I mean? Because there's been times where you wiggle a tube in there and it's not really obviously the best way to test things, but sure you'll get it figured out either way there. So but anyway, good hearing you guys this morning, Glenn, Charlie, Dad, Chris. I'm gonna get moving here, and guys above us are getting pretty strong, and I'm sure the longer we're on here, the more QRM we're going to start to get. So we'll say 7-3. Good to hear you boys this morning. Look for you guys maybe tomorrow morning if I can get up before work to get on. Have a good Easter, whatever you guys are doing, anything, or have a safe Easter there. And we'll catch you guys next time. We'll be listening out here for the remainder. And over to you, Pop. W2SDR in the group. This is W3MMR. 7-3, guys.
Okay, I'm going to move off to make my rounds here this morning. We'll say 7-3. Guys, have a great day. Happy Easter. Eat candy, eat food, eat whatever you're going to eat. Fix your tubes. 7-3. We'll see you guys later. Over to you, Glenn, and 7-3. W2
And go to
SDR.
church.
Yeah, okay, I think I heard Steve in there. Okay, Frank, yeah, have a great day. Good hooking up with you guys and having an extended QSO here. And Perry, thanks for all you do there with the monitoring and the rebroadcasting and so on. We do appreciate that. It's always very helpful in that sense. So, yeah, we'll say 7-3. So I'm going to stick around here. I think Chris and I think there's another station checking in. It sounds like the voice of Florida there, WNQAX. So, Steve, I'll send it right over to you. And of course, Perry and Frank are signing, but they might stop by again and say hello.